Game 2, pretty much the same as Game 1. The Avs have now given up 14 goals to start this season. We're going to break down this home opener loss in this show. Let's get it started. Welcome into the Toyota Losers Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. 2 games, 2 losers lounges for the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by Bet365. Avs lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-4. Eric, you want the 60-second or you want me to take it?
I did it last game. Right. I sucked. I went over about by a minute and a half.
Yeah, well, you only had 12 goals to do. So
yeah, I was running out of steam.
I only have to do 10. It's fine. First period, the Avs, I thought, actually started pretty slow in this game. They ultimately pay the price. Josh Manson gets beat up the ice for the first goal of the game. And very quickly, a second goal on another tough angle that Georgiev just lets get through him. The Avs do keep it competitive. A power play goal late in the period. Nathan MacKinnon put some anger into a one-timer to make it 2-1. Another bad goal early in the second. Georgiev gives up 3 goals on 9 shots. Gets yanked. About 23 minutes of work for him tonight. Not good. Annunen comes in and the Avs immediately respond. Another power play goal picked up from, Casey Mittelstadt. And then a Miles Wood goal at 5-on-5. Gets the game tied. And then 2 more goals go in the Avs net in the second period. It's 5-3, and frankly, a disappointing effort from the Avs in the third. They don't muster enough. A empty net pulled goalie goal from Ross Colton to make it 4-5 is not enough, and the Avs lose. I'm going to be honest, Eric. I think we're going to struggle to come up with problems particularly different than were in Game 1 in this hockey game.
For me, it's the same game. A little disappointed, like we talked about, and I'll let you have that point later about the Avs' third period on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But it's a carbon copy of it. Listen, not goalie killers. You got to call what you see. Right now, what you're looking at has been disastrous in net the first 2 games. It's franchise record. Franchise record goals against after 2 games. You're talking about I lived it. I lived there. The low life Quebec Nordiques, the tough years of the 80s. Avs beat that the last 2 days. So, again, I understand there are breakdowns. I understand you can tighten things up. We all know that, and I'm sure that's what he's going to say post game, and he's going to say the right things. But you cannot win a hockey game if you don't get saves. It's impossible. You might as well just put 6 guys out there. And I mean, I'm just saying, and play the possession game and then just go. Because if you're not getting saves, you can't win hockey games. It doesn't matter what, you said it earlier, an all-star team in front of you. Like if every time you go on your own end, puck's in the net, it's deflating. And it's just the types of goals they're deflating. Like, it just kills your entire bench. It kills the entire mood. And you're going to say, well, you're professionals and, that core's got to be able to overcome those. Yeah. No. Nobody can when it's shit goals, bad goals. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. It deflates you. And then there's no confidence factor. There's no trust factor. Talk to anybody that's been on those benches. Like, it's tough. And it's going to be tough next game again, because it's like, man, oh man, like, this is not fun. Like, we cannot give a shot on net because then puck's going to go in. So that's a reality. It stinks. It's not fun to talk about. But in reality, those are the stories of the game. I mean, those are the stories of the game. Your goaltending has been, we said it, the first 20 games, because the Avalanche situation, they cannot have average goaltending. They can't. They need, and they can't have good goaltending. They need superior goaltending because of the situation they're in. So right now, they're not even at superior. They're not at good. They're not at poor. They're at very, extremely poor.
Actually, don't agree with that.
With what?
With what you just said. If the Avs got average goaltending,
Yeah, I know.
they would be 2-0.
No, I'm talking about the first 20 games. I know. I agree with you. The first 2 games, yes. I'm talking about as a whole. And you're gonna get some games here coming up, and you got to play 3 and 4s, and like the situation they're in. Not the first 2 games. I agree with you. They would have been more than fine. Actually, they would have been fine with like below average goaltending. It's just been 3 steps below, and that's a reality. And that's you can't win. It's impossible.
Look, there are more problems than goaltending in this game. I think the Avs were actually a good bit worse defensively in this game than they were in the Vegas game, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But Alexander Georgiev has given up 8 goals on 25 shots against. In 2 games, he has a .680 save percentage. And, excuse me, it's not even really 2 games. He played 40 minutes in game 1, and he played 22 minutes in this game. So it's really, he's given up 8 goals in 1 hockey game's worth of playtime.
And it's not only that. I'm going to add to that. You're talking about maybe out of those goals, like 4 high danger chances, like maybe a total of like 7 scoring chances against. Like the goals, they're from the corner. They're not even chances against. You can't even mark that as a chance against, and they go in. So those are tough goals.
Looking just at tonight's game. First goal, okay, sure. Manson misses his guy.
Yeah. I still don't like it.
I get it. You want to see him make that save after a tough game 1. But okay. I have a world of... I can live with... There are other issues on that play.
Of course.
But both the second and the third goal are tough angle shots. One of them goes up over his shoulder, the exact same way he was scored on in the Vegas game. And the other one is arguably even worse because it beats him 5-hole. If you're an NHL starter, those goals shouldn't go in 1 in 100, and he's let in 3 of them in 2 games. I don't know what anyone can do beyond Alexander Georgiev play better to fix that.
Well, I mean, for me, when you start a season, I don't care if you're a goalie, you're a D, you're a forward, you're a coach, you're anything. You want to start on the right foot. You just do. You've had all summer to get ready, to be fresh mentally, to be fresh physically. I thought he had one game that he was okay in preseason, one game that he was very poor, very resembling those 2 performances that you saw. So at some point, you have to show that you care a little bit. For me, I saw someone in net that I absolutely had no interest in being there. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like his demeanor. And somewhere, somehow, he hasn't been ready to start the season. Let's call a spade a spade. And then Eustace, again, it's been tough every time he's gone in there. The first pucks go in, and it's just like, again, he's not seizing the opportunity.
Yeah, Eustace hasn't been good enough by any stretch of the imagination.
I
either.
agree.
It's not. This is not just a Georgiev problem, but Georgiev, 2 games ago, he was the starter. Now I genuinely don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can get immigration done on Sundays. Again, I'm laughing, but it's like it's comical for Capo MacKinnon. Again, has he been skating right now? Has he? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I mean, immigration is tricky, and again, tomorrow is a Sunday. I don't know when they expect to get this done, and it's not fun. It's not easy, and it's always different. Each case is different, and it's just a mess all the time. So I don't know. I mean, I'm being honest when I say that because it's funny because it's been that bad for 2 games. So if the guy can get his visa done, like put him in the net for all I care. It can't be any worse than this right now.
If you don't believe me and Eric, through 2 games, Georgiev's goal saved above average is -5.
There you go.
He's saved 5 less goals than he's expected to.
So how can you win? You can't. I'm not being that guy. It's like, oh, what is this? Again, those are atrocious numbers. Like you can't win. You cannot win with that. Those are career bad games. Like So you're talking about, it's just like the first game last year in the playoffs. Like, they're just atrocious games. Like, it's like, we're supposed to have one of those, like, every 10 years. It's like, it just happens all the time. I'm having a hard time with it.
Maybe the most unfortunate, determining, deciding, scariest statistic of the bunch. Not Georgiev's high danger save percentage, which is at 600, which is bad, but hey, those are high danger chances. Georgiev's low danger save percentage, 571.
That's my point.
He's barely saving half of the low danger chances.
I'm going to jump in and say the same thing I said in pregame. You're on the bench. I've been there. There's those goals, like the first goal in Vegas. You played a great freaking period in Vegas on the road on a season opening night for the visiting team, and you give up a goal from the corner. I don't want to hear, 6 shot. You gave a goal from the corner. Those deflate you as a team. You're just like, God, here we go again. Tonight, was that the second one? Like, you lost your marbles there, which usually you don't. You know what I mean? But that's how bad it was, right? You know what I mean? Because it's like frustrating. It's the same thing that's happening as a coach. It's hard because you know you got the camera on you. So you know you're like, your mental's like, you're just like, wow. And then players on the bench, at least you can duck your head down and throw an F-bomb below, like below your breath. You know what I mean? Like, are you serious? But they just deflate you as a team. It does. It just does. We're going to say, well, it's only 2 games. You can't panic. No. Nobody wants to start the season 0-2. Nobody does. Nobody does. Because, like I said to you, you're there all summer preparing as a team, as individuals, as a coaching staff. You're all there all summer. We got to start on the right foot. We got to start on the right foot. And then when you start 0-2, is it the end of the world? No. But would you rather be 2-0? Yes. And that's what we're talking about.
It's just, look, this is a modern NHL. Goal scoring has been up over the last couple of years, right? What used to be a league where it's a race to 3 is pretty regularly a race to 4 now. It can't be a race to 6. You can't go into every night saying, hey, guys, we're going to need to put 6 goals on the board to win. You won't win very much, if ever.
And this is not overreacting. This is something that we saw a lot last year. We saw it a lot.
Do you think the puck just keep going in? How frustrating is this game, these first 2 games been?
If he had come into this season without that baggage,
yeah,
you'd be like, wow,
okay,
this is 2 horrible games.
Yeah.
What's going on? Instead, you're saying we've seen this before. It's happening again. Going into this season, I'd given Georgiev a 20-game window to figure it out. Let's see if he can be the starter. We are now 2 games into the season, and that leash has gone from 20 games to
now.
It might be 0.
Yeah.
It might be up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with him at this point.
I know.
I don't know what to do anymore. And we'll get into the other problems the Avs had tonight because they did. But we had to have the goalie conversation first because the goaltending has just been so bad to start this season.
I didn't like the body language. Remember last year I kept talking about his body, always smashing sticks and, just being all over the place. This one, the last 2 games, I haven't seen even that. I've seen the opposite, which is the shoulders are down and the care factor seems to be low. And I'm not saying that his care factor is low. I said the optics of what you're looking at. You're looking at a defeated guy.
And to be clear, I don't want to take any of the pressure off of Annunen here either, because Annunen is the goalie of record in this game. He loses this game.
He does lose it. You're right. 3-3.
Yep.
You're right.
And he loses
that
it.
Stinks, doesn't it? That stinks. Oh yeah. But then again, he's got to be ready too.
Yeah, right. He comes in. The Avs immediately give him a game by scoring 2 goals. And the first goal, he scores it on himself.
Yeah. Blocker. Hey, he hasn't been good. Hey, listen, I've been saying all along, oh my God, he's going to take over. I'm pushing for. He's had 2 chances, and just like the other guy, he failed both tests.
Yep.
Miserably too.
Yeah.
Not because they're weak. You got to make saves. And there's a time and a place where you have to shut the door. They haven't done it, and Justus did not do it either. So he's not getting a free pass either. He has not been good.
You know what might be some pertinent information to get your goalies to show up on time? Do you know what time it is, Eric?
Oh, game time.
It is game time. If you want to go see this goaltending tire fire in person, you can get your tickets on Game Time. They'll probably play better, honestly, as the season goes on. I will say.
It can't be any bit worse.
The Avs goaltending isn't this bad. They might be bad, but this is unsustainably bad for just about anyone.
There's no way you can sustain this bad.
When the Avs get better in goal, make sure you're watching it in person with Game Time. Go get your tickets today. Be sure to use their Game Time Picks options, which filters out all of the fluff and garbage, the tickets you don't want. It'll only show you the best deals for the best seats. You'll get exactly what you want when it comes to Game Time. Download their app today and use the code DNVR20 to sign up to get $20. It's just DNVR, right? I'm dumb. Just use code DNVR to get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Excuse me. Of course, terms and conditions apply with Game Time. Go get signed up with their app today with code DNVR. And once you've got your tickets to the next game, make sure you're also being healthy, whether you're going to the rink or you're going outdoors or you're getting over a cold like me. Make sure you are using UC Health and their Ready, Set, Co program. The Ready, Set, Co program, coached by Coach Prime himself, is just trying to get Colorado back to being the healthiest state in the country. And it's not just physical health, it's mental health, it's sleep health, it's whatever type of health improvements you might need to make in your life. They've got you fully covered over at UC Health with tons of different options within the Ready, Set, Co program. So make sure you get in with Coach Prime. Make sure you're ready to join the Ready, Set, Co challenge by clicking the link in the description or going to uchealth.org/readysetco. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I did want to, I mean, at least Annunen got to an 800 save percentage tonight, number that started with an 8. But you just need more from your goalies. Again, I don't care if the defense is a disaster in front of you. The type of numbers the Avs are putting up are just unacceptably bad from their goaltending. And I know it's only been 2 games. Some of those advanced statistics eventually, there's small sample sizes that'll be balanced out, hopefully over the year. But all of the numbers point to just, you can't win a game like that.
It's impossible.
You can't.
Like you just said it, it's incredibly bad. So you would think, like, even if it's bad next game, it can't be this bad. Like, because it's not, like you said, sustainable. Like, meaning you can't be that bad 3 games in a row. Those are career bad games. Like, it's like it happens in the span of a career. You're talking about, again, the mid-80s of the Nordiques. That's right. That's what you're talking about right now after 2 games. I don't know. Hey, listen, it is frustrating. You can see MacKinnon at the end of the game slashing his stick, and frustration's going to set in. If I can just, you know what? As we all know, I follow BU, right, for all the reasons, and God, I love DU. You know that, and for hockey people who are here in the area. But I'll give you an example. Tonight, BU's playing because I didn't watch the other NHL games, but BU's playing a lesser opponent in Union, right? First 10 minutes, Union absolutely crap-kicked BU. Yeah. I would tell you that the scoring chances, and again, Chewy, not my son, Chewy the goalie, was awesome. I would say high-danger chances were about 6-0 for Union. And then what does that do? He calms the waters down, he makes the big saves, and what's the end of the score after the first period? 3-0 BU, right? And because that's talent takes over and let you settle into your game. But if you're not getting saves, and it's not like the Avs were even bad. It doesn't calm the waters down. It steers the pot. It makes the soup hot. And you can tell right now that you're feeling it. And you're going to say, they're NHL guys. They have a core guy who's won the Stanley Cup. Those coaches. I don't care what. Hey, listen, I felt it this morning in the building. I felt it in the building. And I told you that.
You said so.
I feel that. I feel the soup being hot. And it's been 1 game. Now your soup is even hotter. It's starting to steam, and it's been 2 games. So I don't want to hear like, oh, those guys. I hate the word panic. It's not panicking. It's you get frustrated. So I think what you're seeing right now out of MacKinnon, out of the coaching staff. You can tell like nobody's happy right now, and it's not fun. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you don't want to be 0-2 to start the season. The Avalanche, I don't remember the last time they were 0-2 to start the season. It's been a while. I mean, honestly, like...
They've been pretty good in season openers as of late, for sure.
What's that?
They've been pretty good in season openers.
Yeah, I think, what's his name? Bednar's 7-1.
Yeah.
Well, now he's 7-2, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, I just hate that... It starts. It's a foundation. It starts with goaltending. You know what I mean? And if you're not there to calm the waters down, it gets rocky.
But hey, you're talking about that emotional standpoint, and you come out and they really play poorly for the first 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
You don't see them with some high energy in a home opener.
Yeah.
You see them struggle to really make impact early. Not great.
That's a fair point. Like, I agree with you. It's not just on the goaltending, but that's what shaky goaltending does. It just freaking, what do you call that word? Like, seeps through your whole lineup, and it just sucks the energy out. And I hate to just blame goal. I'm not doing that. You're right. Somewhere, somehow, they should have been better. They should have had more energy as a team. It is the opening night at home to a fan base that absolutely adores this team, that's got a rich history, and that's got an unbelievable core. Somewhere, somehow, if you ask Cale Makar right now, he's not next to us. Hey, he would tell you that he's frustrated too, and he's not going to say I'm frustrated with the goaltender. He's going to say I'm frustrated with my play. Maybe I can do more. I can be more opportunistic at times. I think MacKinnon will tell you the same thing too. So all in all, it starts on the back side of things. You know what I mean? And that's where stems the problem right now.
I want to get into some more of these problems for the Avs actual skaters, but before we do, I think we're going to hear Jared Bednar echo some of the sentiments we just had on the show, but let's hear what Coach had to say about a not very good game.
Questions for Jared?
So I believe the analytic numbers said that you guys finished under 2 for expected goals against. Just how frustrating is it to see the 6 going in net?
Yeah, well, it's 2 games in a row. So it's frustrating because you go to working camp and you want to have a good start to the season. You do. You don't want to be digging holes and then trying to climb out of them. But it's a long year, okay? So I get that there's a level of frustration. But Georgie he's our guy. He's our starter, right? And I have full faith that he has the ability, the talent, the work ethic to bounce back and win us hockey games. It's a mental game right now, right? So we'll regroup, and then we have other areas of our game too that we have to get better at. It's a little bit of a mental game from our team. Like, we go down in the first period, and I could feel like the heaviness in our room right away. Everyone wants to come out, put on a good show, play to their best ability in front of our fans. All understandable, but it felt like we had a whole season on our shoulders, and we're 4 periods into the season. So the message is, you got to have the commitment required on the defensive side of it. We have some details that we have to clean up. We looked at them the other day. We made a couple mistakes tonight that I didn't like. But we're working hard, we're competing hard. We have to be able to trust that everyone going on the ice is doing that. And then you got to free yourself up to relax and play instinctual hockey, on your toes hockey, make plays. And we did a lot of that tonight. We're showing signs of some good hockey, right? But some of the mistakes, it gets frustrating because they're going in. But we got to regroup, relax, put in the work, and then go again. So that's just the way I see it. You don't have another option, right? If you start feeling sorry for yourself, or you start pointing the finger, everything goes the wrong way, and it's way too early for that, right? It's way too early for that.
You did seem to get some juice when you did replace Georgiev. The team seemed to respond pretty well, then just sort of fade again there. Was that the intent when you replaced Georgiev with...
Okay, it's a couple rough starts in a row, right? But I have to do what I think's best for our team, not for Georgie. I hate pulling him. Okay, because I'm a supporter and he's our guy, and I all of our guys feel the same way. But like if it's not his night, then we got to do what we can, right? And Eustace is showing the ability to win us hockey games too. So it obviously hasn't worked out in the first 2 games, but I can't say I regret the decision. Like, you know, like we have, if it's not working, you got to change it, you know, and you got to keep working on it and try to fix it. So that's what we do every day, you know. When we win, there's things in the game we don't like. We go work trying to fix them. There's things that we do like. We try to build on them. It's the same thing now. Whether it's about the process, not about the result. I get it's frustrating for our guys. Get to relax, take a breath, and go back to and put the work in and the time in that's required, and make sure we show up with that effort and detail and commitment that's required to win a hockey game, you know, and then we get a couple better performances. Like, we did a lot of good things tonight. We had a lot of good scoring chances, but we missed the net a lot too, you know. Some of our best chances coming down the slot. He made some big saves, no question, but we missed the net on some of our good chances. So we got to bear down a little bit. There's lots of things that we can get incrementally better on that can push us over the top.
You said you understand some of the frustration, and like Casey said, it's only 2 games, but there were like very visible signs of frustration tonight. Stick smashes, one of your guys looked like he was yelling at Georgiev after one of the goals. Is there any concern for you?
Yeah, I didn't see that. If you're talking about Max stick smash at the end, I get it. It's the end of the game. We're getting a penalty, which I thought maybe it should have been their penalty. You know, game's over. You let it out. I didn't see a lot of frustration. Like, I just felt the heaviness, and like everyone's trying to do the right thing and play the right way. And so, like, it's a new group. Trust has to be built over time, right? And you want to know when you're playing and leaving it all out there that everyone else is doing the same, and you get frustrated when someone doesn't make a play here and there. But we got to channel that better than we are right now. I can't say I don't understand it, because I do. It's 2 games in, and you're wanting to get the start. You know, you put in a lot of work to get ready to play this season, and it isn't going your way. But we gotta rechannel that someplace else and make it more productive.
What's your assessment of Richie and Kovalenko through 2 games?
I thought Covey was good again. He did some good things. There's a physicality to his game. He was around the puck. It's you know, I touched on this before. You get playing with Mac, you're trying to get him the puck all the time. It takes you out of your element a little bit. Like, it takes you maybe away from your identity a little bit, but I thought he did a decent job sticking to it. Rich was pretty quiet tonight. I didn't mind his game in Vegas, but he was pretty quiet tonight. And he got to trust his skill and his ability for me tonight. If I just, like, without looking at all of his shifts, which I will, and go through it with him, because I think it's really important for him, like, he can use his skating way more than he is, right? He doesn't look like he wants the puck on his stick as much. Like, you watch him play junior, he's like demanding the puck everywhere. He's moving all the time. He's freed up. There's a confidence about him. It looks like he's lacking that confidence. He wouldn't be here if I didn't think that he had another step to his game, right? So we'll see. We'll just keep building on it and see how he responds next game.
Colton Mittelstadt with goals in back-to-back
Yep.
games. Seemed like a player that the team was really excited to see develop throughout the full regular season. You moved him around a little bit tonight on the
Yep.
lines. What can you say about his performance through 2 games?
Yeah, loved his game in Vegas. I thought his line was really good. A little bit like Rich tonight for me. Like, he was involved in the game from start to finish tonight again, and competitive in some areas and made some plays. I want to see him use his skating more. You know, it's just I've seen him use his skating better than he did tonight. But it was all around. It was a solid game from him. I'm trying not like we expect a lot from those guys right now with some of the guys out of lineup. Like, we need them to be good, and we need them to be at the top of their game. He's been good, but I think he can give us a little bit more yet in the skating department.
It's 2 straight games where every time it seems like you guys are building momentum, and then it ends up in the back of your net. What can you attribute to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of things. You can't. It's timing of our mistakes right now. Timing of the goals that are going in. It's like you start to push, and if you're not playing, I don't want to say safe, it's the wrong word, but if you're not above pucks, like they get one on the rush again. We had numbers back on a couple of those rushes. I'd like to see us come up with a couple saves on some of those, but we gave up one not being firm enough at the front of our net. Like we're trying to, we're stressing the right things with our guys, and it's good for a lot of the game. But it feels like right now when you're struggling a little bit, it almost has to be perfect, right? And I'm just convinced we just put in the work, it'll come around. I don't like the timing of some of the goals that are going, because we're like playing hard and we're pushing and we're creating some chances, and then we give something up on the other end. So there's a responsibility to the players away from the puck to get above it, and that's what we talked about the other day, and we'll revisit it again tomorrow. It was better tonight though.
Ivan gets his first career point and nearly has a goal.
Yeah.
How can you affirm the things that he's doing well in his introduction into the NHL, beating some tough games?
Yeah, so it's great. He's another player that we're sitting down with his individual video. I've done a session with him. Cogs I'm on Richie right now, so he's taking care of some of the things that he's seeing in Ivan's game, and there's a lot of good. Like, he's been good. He puts himself in the right spot, in the right spots consistently enough that good things are happening. He's competitive, he skates, he doesn't look afraid to handle the puck and skate with the puck through the neutral zone, to delay in the offensive zone, try to make something happen. The decision making with the puck, if he has a play to make, he makes it. If he doesn't, he's putting it on a cycle. There's a lot of maturity in his game, and he's getting rewarded. Like even the MacKinnon goal, like he's patient enough in the slot coming downhill. When Mikko shoots it, he gets right in there and he gets his body around it, gets a forehand chance, and the rebound goes to MacKinnon. He almost scored after that. Like, he's doing good things. I think he's a guy that can be a trusted 200-foot player. I think we can get some offense out of him, and I think he's a guy that, he can keep building his defensive game to help us.
Last question, anybody? Thank you.
Thanks.
Ivan, one of the positive factors for the Avs in this game. If you need a positive, you need Factor meal kits. Make sure you go get yours today. Factor, it's more to it than just lunches and dinners. You can get easy breakfast. They have smoothies, midnight snacks, whatever it might be. Factor has over 60 different add-ons to keep you fueled and focused 24/7. You can also choose from a bunch of different flavors. They have a super large menu to choose from. 6 meal preferences, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and round out your nutrient-rich smoothies, snacks, energy shots, and more to keep you satisfied all day long. You work hard, so treat your body right with Factor. Head to factormeals.com/avs50 today. Use that AVS50 code to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month. That's code AVS50 at factormeals.com/AVS50 to get that 50% off, plus 20% off your next month with Factor. Once you've got some food in your belly, make sure you're also cracking a Breck brew. Because I need a Breck brew after that.
I might start right now.
I tell you what, I will not be drinking a beer every time the Avs get scored on. Oh, that would be way too many beers. Maybe I should drink a beer every time the Avs get a save at this rate. Either way, make sure you're drinking the official craft beer of DNVR with Breckenridge Brewery. You can find them at a local liquor store even near you with breckbrew.com. Look, I'm still sick. Breckbrew.com. Use their Breck Beer locator there to find it at a local liquor store near you. We got there. We do have another in-arena guest joining us, Nick Gismondi, live from Ball Arena. Nick, can you talk me off the ledge here, or am I smashing this panic button through the floor?
No, it's not time to panic just yet.
I can't hear
the height
you.
is from this press box down to ice level. But here's the deal. And you know what actually encouraged me? I was kind of thinking it was panic time until I heard Coach Bednar talk, to be quite honest with you. He's got a calming presence about him. He's the man for the job. I've been around enough athletes to understand that, listen, Gorgie's going through it right now, no question about it, and the mental strain is definitely affecting things, that's for sure. I liked what he talked about, and Eric can probably speak to this a little bit more, but there was a heaviness after the first period that he felt in the locker room, and the message right now is just hey, calm down, we're going to be okay. They'd obviously like to start better. There's a lot of other factors in their game that maybe they aren't loving, but at the end of the day, even though it's not time to panic, they absolutely need to get more out of their goaltender, including the man that they are very solidly saying is their guy and their starter. And they can believe in him, and they can support him, and they can help him. There's no question about that, and they should do all of those things. But at some point, he has got to step up a bit because it just seemed like a very vapid effort to start the night tonight.
We talked a lot about the negative side of the goaltenders. Can you give me some positives from inside the arena tonight?
It was sold out.
Hey, that's a thing.
I mean,
No. Listen, there were some high points. I thought that Casey Mittelstadt was great today. I thought he moved well. I thought he's been put in so many different situations, but he finds a way to adapt. I thought he was good. Ivan does look good, and Coach Bednar talked about him. That was a positive. And I think the thing that I really liked is that I really didn't see any quit in the team. You know, they made the move to put Eustace in, and then, you know, they stepped up. And every time, you know, they got scored on, they bounced right back. They found a way. The power play looked good for a little bit. I thought that was a positive for a short while there, and then it kind of died off. And I liked how in the third period they kept working. They were getting no shots to show for it, but the hard work didn't quit. They had some moments, that's for sure. But, you know, when you start a game like that, 2 games in a row, it's just you're drained. You're mentally drained and you're frustrated. And I think that's where we saw that frustration from Matt come out at the very end of the game there. I can't really blame him at all.
I'll give you one more positive just to answer your question. And, you know, you work on those things during practice. You work on those things in the video room. You work on those things with a Sharpie, not a Sharpie, but a dry erase and a board. And it's that 6-on-5, situation. Tonight you saw the Avs convert on a 6-on-5, which is very important because it might come. It didn't do anything tonight because it brought them within 1 and then didn't get to that one. But it might help them down the future here when you can connect, you can do it. It's just a confidence booster, just to look for a positive, like you said. The other positive that I saw, and I agree with you, Giz, is Jared Bednar's presser. It starts at the top, and then you want to make sure, again, like I said, it starts at the on the back end and in the net in the game. Well, post games it starts with management. It starts with coaches. I thought that he did a great job tonight in the press conference. He didn't show, that his heart rate was up. He showed that he was pretty calm. I think it's important. The message that he gives there at the media might be a little bit different than the message he gives in the locker room post game to the team. But with all that said, I thought it takes a lot of, first of all, experience, and he's an experienced coach now, to go through something like this and to answer questions and to talk about it. So I'll take that as a positive.
Look, when you've given up 14 goals in 2 games, I think it starts from the top, bottom, back, front, middle, and everywhere else at that point,
Side
basically, too? Right? So.
On the sides too. And the sides.
You can't do that again. I mean, if this is not panic, you can't. You can't start hockey games that way again. I mean, and you got a difficult challenge with an Islanders team coming in on Monday, and you know that they're going to come at you. Listen, they're doing their homework. You heard what Steve Mears said in our intermission report about, what Fantilli said about the scouting report on Georgiev, and they exposed it. So the same thing's going to happen. It's going to have to be a very quick turnaround. They'll skate tomorrow. They will practice tomorrow. And then it's, okay, get back to work. Do it again on Monday and try to make something happen.
Yeah, it just has to be better. I don't think there's any two ways around that. Maybe the other positive, and Giz, you can speak to this in the arena a little bit. The Avs, multiple power play goals again tonight. So at least the special teams getting their part of the job done. Can the Avs find a way to transfer that into the rest of their play?
Well, I mean, I think what it tells you is that everything that you worked on in training camp is working. You've got a few areas that you want to make better, no doubt about it. Coach Bednar said other things can sharpen up, but I mean, you see the way that this game ended. You make a couple of those saves early on, and this is probably a win for the Colorado Avalanche. So though this is hockey and it's a we thing and no one's going to point a finger at one specific area or person or decision, at the end of the day, this is a very different result if the game starts out a heck of a lot better than 2 goals on 3 shots.
Yeah, no argument there. It just can't happen again. I think you put it extremely well. Once, all right, maybe that's a one-off bad game. Twice, now you have a problem. 3 times, now you have to do something about it.
If you run into a situation like this for a 3rd time, then yeah, you're going to have to do something massively drastic.
It's really the story of the game. Anything else you want to throw in here, Giz, before we let you get to writing the exact same story you wrote last game?
Copy and paste, Bruto. Copy and paste. There were some good moments. I'll find a way to find some of them. But listen, the crowd stayed in it. I thought that was awesome. Everybody was hyped up about being here. No question about it. I'm impressed by this fan base. I'm really impressed by this fan base. And, I think I hate saying this because it's so cliche, but trust the process. I was very encouraged by Coach Bednar's press conference. I walked out of the room after hearing that, and I was like, oh, okay, this guy can figure it out. This guy knows what he's doing. I'm impressed by this organization's leadership. And like he said, it starts there, trickles down. They'll get this dialed. They will.
All right. I'm going to believe you on this one. Hopefully the Avs can figure it out. Gismo live from Ball Arena doing the hard work while we get to sit around here and yell about goaltending. Giz, we'll see you on, I guess you'll be back in the rink on Monday. So we'll see you then.
I'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks as always.
All right. A couple of other things I wanted to jump in on there from the Bednar presser. You and I talked in the pregame show. Tonight was an opportunity for someone to earn a little bit of something. Ivan did, man.
I thought he did.
Ivan played super well tonight. He gets the point, his first NHL point, I should say, on the Avs' first goal.
Yep.
And I want to hone in on this goal specifically. The Avs haven't played a great first period. They're down 2-0. They get a late power play. Go back and watch the first minute of that power play. The Avs are twirling, passing, cutesy. And Bednar deserves some credit here, too. He recognizes the Avs are floating around. What's he do? He puts Ivan out on the power play. You get the zone. You get a shot on net from Mikko, rebound. You get a shot on net from Ivan, rebound. Nathan MacKinnon with the 3rd attempt puts it into the net. When you have some of these slow play, Avs trying to do a little bit too much, you have to simplify your game. And Ivan did exactly that to help the Avs get to where they need to be.
Meat potato guy for me. That's what he is. A corridor guy. Meat potatoes, junkyard dog mentality that we've been talking about. You saw him tonight. I'm going to go back to Bednar's quote this morning from yesterday. Sorry, that Luke from the Avs put out there was, I don't care if you play 2 shifts, I don't care if you play 15 shifts. You're going to go out there and you're going to do it right. And I think Ivan really exemplifies that quote. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at it, again, I don't have the ice time in front of me. I'm sure you do, but he's one of the lowest ice time guys probably up front, right? I mean, he's not going to be on the top end. He's going to be on the lower end. but he was noticeable. He brought stuff every time, whether it was on the special team, which is what? The power play. Whether he was on a face-off on his own and on an icing, did the job on the wall, get the puck out. Those are things that will keep you in the National Hockey League. And I think he, like what we talked about before the pregame, jumped on the opportunity. I thought Kovalenko, jumped on.
He was okay.
He was okay, but he was. I think that here's where it hurts when you lose games. When you lose games, remember I always say it, like it makes the body armor taste worse and all that kind of stuff. When you lose games, it makes Cal Ritchie look worse than it actually is. It just does. It just does. When you're winning,
everybody looks better.
Everybody looks better, and you're not talking about he's play away from the puck and on the defensive side of things, and so it's more magnified. When you're not winning. But then again, at some point, starts with the goaltending. But you want to stay in this league. You want to make sure that you're going to be. You got to give it a little more.
Just to reinforce your point, a bad defensive shift doesn't look as bad when you get a save.
That's my point.
Cal Ritchie was a -2 tonight. So.
I know I know it's just like it's just more magnified. When the puck's in your net, it just makes everything more sour. You know what I mean? So, but you're right. Like we just talked about Kovalenko, Ritchie. I mean, were they awesome? No. Are they making strides? Yes. You know what I mean? Where I think Ivan with less ice time sees the opportunity maybe more.
Yeah,
those two.
I think that's fair.
Fairly said, right?
For what it's worth, Ivan the Avs' best possession forward in the game tonight. Cal Ritchie, the worst.
Yeah.
So.
It's a tough league. And to Cal's defense, he's put in different types of positions, that Ivan would be put in, like, so to speak. But then again, when you get to this league, it's so hard because it's like, keep it simple, stupid, but on top of it, we want more from you, right? I mean, it's just like, so what do you want from me? You want more from me or you want more simplicity, right? So
both.
It's exactly, and that's what's hard to achieve, So we're playing with words, but that's what it is.
If the NHL was easy, everyone would do it, right? So
I'd still be playing, trust me. It's not easy.
We are going to take our quick third break here, and then we'll be right back to talk about some more positives and negatives. Okay, so on the one hand, I think some guys deserve a lot of credit. That third line, which ended up being Parker Kelly with Logan O'Connor and Miles Wood, worked their tails off tonight, rewarded for it, had really good possession metrics. Some of that is score effects, I understand.
Yeah.
But those were guys that were working hard. Gibbs gave them some praise for that third period and their hard work, and I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I do think the Avs worked hard in the third period, but it goes back to the same point that I'm making with Ivan. You're 15 minutes into the third period, you're trailing by 2 in, and you have one shot on goal.
I was going to say 0.
At 10 minutes, it was 0. It's not enough. You have to understand the situation you're in. You're not going to score a goal if you don't shoot the puck, and you need 2.
And that's where they're not like in sync right now. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. From goaltending on to, I always tell you all the time, like I thought they did tonight. The Parker Kelly, Logan O'Connor, Miles Wood get momentum shifts, like you said. Did they get scoring chances out of it? No. But a lot of times the momentum right now that you're building, lets the MacKinnon line come on, and then all of a sudden pot one home, where it wasn't in sync. Those guys came on, and you heard Coach Bednar say maybe they had a big opportunity and they shot wide. They didn't hit the net, right? I mean,
they had that one shift where they shot wide about 4 times.
That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't in sync. You know what I mean? It's almost a positive, meaning, okay, they were hungry, they were creating stuff, but then the negative side of things is when it came down to just clutch it, they shot wide. They missed opportunities. So right now, they're not in sync, from goaltending on all the way up. And you get bits and pieces right now that you're going to have to put together. And again, like we said, it's 2 games. But as soon as remember I said, let's break it down to 5-game segments. Right now, you're 0-2. You want to keep pace, you got to win 3 in a row here.
Yeah.
I know it's 1 game at a time. But that's where you're at. And that's why we say it all the time. I'll say it again the first time of the season. Good teams don't lose 2 games in a row. They just don't. Because in playoffs, when you lose two in a row, you're usually in hot water.
I think that's a little harsh in the regular season. I don't disagree.
No.
with what you're
I'm saying the mentality that you have to have for 82 games because it usually helps you in the playoffs.
I think in the regular season, it's more fair to say good teams don't go on losing streaks.
So we're saying
Losing
the same thing.
streak
I
is
say
3.
2. I know, but
You're saying 2.
I say 2.
Beyond that, this is a positive, but it actually almost makes it more infuriating that the Avs lose this game. 2 for 4 on the power play.
I know.
Your power play was good tonight. It got the job. And by the way, Columbus only goes 1 for 3 on theirs. So you won the special teams battle, and you still lose this game.
Columbus was sloppy. Ask Tiff. I said it. 2 huge no-nos. A goal with 10 seconds to go in the period. A goal shift after a goal. They were just giving it on the silver platter to the Avs to take. You know, it just didn't happen.
Look, to me that's extremely frustrating because usually if you play a fairly even game, which outside of goaltending the Avs did at 5-on-5, it was pretty evenly played by the numbers. The special teams is what should be the difference in the winner and loser of the game.
And you won them.
But it's not the case because of what we've talked about to this point. Look, I will say this. For all the problems, for all of the struggles, for all of the bad we've pointed out in this game, it comes down to it. You guys, the Avs guys get an empty net goal with Ross Colton, 6-on-5. They're able to get the game back within 1. And they're a crossbar away from tying this game and at least getting a point out of it. Ross Colton almost scores again. And obviously they didn't do it. This is a loss. There's no 2 ways around that. But as opposed to the Vegas game, which it felt like the Avs were never really in it past the first 10 minutes of the game, even through the down portions of the games, it felt like the Avs were still in this. They were still competitive. This was a winnable game despite terrifically bad goaltending. And again, if they combined for an 800 save percentage tonight, they at least get an overtime point out of this game.
Or you go 2-0. If you combine both games.
So I understand the leaning into the negativity. Certainly we've done it on this show as much as anyone.
But you have to. It's right there. Right? But you always say you can only play the game that's in front of you. You say that all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can only play the opponent. Well, you can only talk about this game. I mean, at some point, you have to address the elephant in the room. It's the reason why they lost. Yeah. I mean, it's just there. It's a fact. So it's not being negative. It's just a fact. That is the glaring
My point is, yes, there is a very big and obvious flaw on the Avs organization right now.
Yeah.
And there are other less big but still flaws going on. You need better defense from Josh Manson on that first goal. You just do.
Sure.
You can't fall apart on some of these goals the way that the Avs defensively have. You catch them particularly on their penalty kill. Their structure breaks down far too easily through the first 2 games of the season. But there's so many good things that you can find if you're looking close enough for Colorado in this one.
You can always find positives, right? And that's what they're going to do as a coaching staff, starting with the press conference, starting with tomorrow morning, starting with, the start of morning skate, against the Islanders on Monday. Patty Waugh's team there, they lost 3-0 to Dallas tonight, so they're going to be an angry opponent, which should make for a good hockey game, right? So there's a lot of positives. You have to look for them. You have to. You're only scratching the surface right now, like you said, Ivan, things like that. Somewhere, somehow, the sun will rise tomorrow. Coaches are going to be. It's just, you know what? It makes it, like you said, you've been at home sick all week, and that's why we love sports. That's why we love hockey. It's the highs and lows. It's the wins and losses, and Well, boy, oh boy, it's addicting. It just is. It is, you know. And then when you don't have it in the summer, it's boring as hell. You know what I mean? Where now you're in it and you think this is like the end of the world, but you know what? It's awesome.
Yeah, make no mistake. The second the Avs tied this game 3-3 early in the second, everyone all of a sudden was like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, 2 more goals go in their net and they lose the game. But look, it's easy to sit here and say the Avs have a goaltending problem and they need to fix it. I don't even necessarily agree with you. Or I don't even necessarily disagree with you. I think they probably do have an issue in that.
Yeah.
Maybe MacKinnon's the answer. Maybe something else is the answer. But it's a lot easier to say, hey, fix it, than to actually go out and fix it.
Sure. I agree.
You can't give up 6 to 8 goals a night. That's untenable. It has to get better no matter who it is. But the Avs have given you 4 goals 2 games in a row. Again, you don't need someone to come in and give you a 920. You need a guy who can give you a 900.
Well said. And hopefully it starts Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. A couple of other specific player notes. Shouted out the Logan O'Connor, Parker Kelly, Miles Wood line. Miles Wood, his chaotic self tonight, does pick up a goal. Created a lot of other chaos out there. Pretty solid. You got a goal and an assist out of Ross Colton. Another guy who moved up the lineup and earned it tonight.
Yep.
You kind of see who took advantage of this opportunity, and people like Colton and Ivan, as opposed to the players who didn't, like Richie. And I know Bednar gave Kovalenko some praise. I think you needed to see more out of him tonight, to be honest. Good moments, but I think you needed a little bit more. Interestingly, I don't think this is something that the Avs can rely on long-term because they need him at center. But Casey Mittelstadt with the top guys looks pretty good.
I love the guy. I love the player. I think it's... Hey, listen, like you're saying right now, the answers are internal right in front of them. There's no other solutions right now, as we talked about. There's no other solution in net. I mean, besides, like you said, they picked up MacKinnon, and who knows? We'll see what happens. But let's work with what we got. Let's make them better. And that's your job as a coach. Your job as a coaching staff is to, the elements that you have at your disposition, you have to make sure that they are at the top of their game individually and as a team. And you can't look for, oh, it'd be so nice to have whatever, Joe X. As you know, he's not on your team, so don't worry about Joe X. Worry about what you got and make Richie better, make Kovalenko better, make Colton, Mittelstadt, all those things. Make Kale, Mac, better. Make your goaltending better. Make your scoring chances against better. And that's the job of a coach in this league. It's not about what ifs and what if I had those players with me and what you don't have, which is Gabe, MacKinnon, and the Tushkins. It's what you have. And that's your job tomorrow morning, to make sure that you get more out of it. Like you said, starting with the goaltending on to the rest of the lineup.
The one last thing I want to touch on before we get out of here, again from that Bednar presser. Bednar saying, look, Georgiev's our starter. He's the guy we trust and we're going to go with. I don't want to say I don't believe him, but what's he supposed to say in that situation, right? You're looking at a goaltender who the Avs don't have a replacement sitting there, at least not one that they can trust. Maybe MacKinnon plays well, and you hope so, but you don't know yet. So he can't just throw his starting goaltender in the sewer and say, no, he sucks, we can't play him anymore. If for no other reason than he's already fragile mentally after the last 2 games, and that would just destroy him even more. So I know people are expecting maybe a harsher answer than what they got, but I just don't see how, even if he feels that way, I don't see how he can give the media that answer.
I think the answer that he gave is the only answer he could give. And I think he had to do and say it, and he did. And that's why I give him kudos. Does he believe it? I don't know. I don't live in his brain. but he had one answer to give, and that's what he did. And I thought that was the only answer he could give. I agree with you.
We got a few super chats to get to here. Eric was waiting for this one all night. The Walrus. Do Georgiev and Eustace eat beans or take Miralax for pregame meals? Who starts game 3? This is Dyer. Rhea. Hashtag trusting farts.
I love the man. I love it. Hashtag trusting farts.
Who starts game 3, Eric?
I'm being honest. It stems on the immigration. I'm being honest.
If he can go, it's MacKinnon, is what you're saying?
100%.
Okay.
And I know you're going to say, yeah, but he just said he's our guy. Okay, and then here's what you do. When this is your guy, then you need to have a reset, and you got to go get away a little bit, work with the goalie, Coach Jussi Parkkila, and then work on your game a little bit more and work at pregame skate on stuff. Do a little more video. Step out a little bit. It's like a batter's box, right? You're not liking what you see right now, you step out of the box. Call time out a little bit, and then you get back in the batter's box. I mean, it's no different. So there's two parts to that. If his immigration's ready, and then has he been skating the last couple of days? I don't know. I don't know what the guy did. Winnipeg, I have no idea. So, again, it's not fair to throw a guy in the fire. So, I don't know. I mean, somehow, I don't know. I mean, I thought he would come back with him today because I thought that was the right play after what unfolded the first game. Now, the same thing unfolded again. You know what I mean? So, it's like Eustace did not grab the bat and run with it either.
Not at all.
So, then does that warrant, like, a start now to see if you can start and do it? That's not on Coach. That's not on Georgiev. That's on Eustace himself. That's on him. You got to be better. I don't care. You come in, hey, you're cold and whatever it is. It's not an excuse. You got to be ready to go. And I don't know who you come back with, honestly. I really don't. I think it stems from the immigration issue, and we'll go from there.
All right.
It's not an answer, but
$14 from the incredible Drew, who says, it's nights like this I miss Cap Friendly more than most. Just imagine the obnoxiously ridiculous trades that would be on there. Appreciate you guys, as always. Feel better soon, Rudo. I'm just glad I felt good enough to be here, so that's something. And then $7 from Pierre Alex, who says, Bednar takes the night to tell you about what you just said because you will count your nights before you leave with your pampered Georgiev. Wake up. Yeah, I mean, I kind of covered our thoughts on that already. So
thank you.
We are going to get out of here for the night. We appreciate so many of you hanging out with us, even if the Avs goalies are struggling right now. We're off tomorrow, but we'll be back for game day Monday with the whole shebang for you to do it again. Hopefully I'm feeling better. Hopefully the Avs look better. Hopefully they can get a win under your belt. We appreciate y'all. We are presented by Bet365, and we are out of here.
We all silly like the mayor.